We got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson back here on the program, and now we finally have an opponent. We know that he will be fighting Belal Muhammad December 18th at UFC Fight Night. Mr. Wonderboy, how are you, sir?
Doing good, man. Doing good. We are short timing it, my friend. We got a few weeks to go and ready to rock and roll, baby. December 18th the date, and that's what we got planned. And I'm just glad to be able to fight again before the year's out.
From what you told me in that last interview, this was an opponent that had been worked on for a while. I was just curious, were there any other opponents offered at all, or was Belal always the opponent?
Yeah, Belal was always the opponent, really. I wanted somebody ranked, above me, a loser of, the Usman or Colby or one of those guys up there, but it wasn't happening. In the UFC, we wanted to fight again before the year was out. And it's literally the same time as last year. I was the last fight of 2020 and second to last of 2021. So I'm just excited to be able to get another fight again. And Belal Muhammad's a tough guy. He's he's pretty good everywhere, which makes him dangerous. So that's why I'm really excited to be able to face off against somebody like him.
Before we talk about your fight, there's a lot that's happened in your division since the last time we spoke. Let's start right at the top. Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman. How did you score that fight? Because I've seen scorecards all over the place. I think most felt like Kamaru won, but how did you score that fight?
Yeah, I had Usman winning that fight for sure. I didn't expect Colby Covington to go out there and put on a tougher fight this go round, because we haven't really seen him a whole lot. I think his last fight was tiring, I think.
Yeah.
So I wasn't really sure what to expect. Has he gotten better? And we've seen the progression Usman has made in his last couple of fights leading up to that fight. So I expected him to go out there and finish him, but he went the distance, man. Hats off to Colby, man. He's tough.
Yeah, he looked good. And just to be able to come back from that second round, a lot of people were wondering, should that have been of 10-8 in that second round for Kamaru Usman? How did you score it?
No, I think Colby was fine. I think he was good, man. He knows he's tough, dude. And I call it as they did. I don't think he should have got a 10-8 round. I think it was great. I think they scored it well, sir.
Okay, fair enough. And kind of on that note with the title picture, what do you think is next for Usman? Because Leon Edwards' fight against Masvidal got canceled. Obviously there's a few other sort of notable names in the division, including Khamzat Chimaev, who got a pretty big win as well. What do you think the UFC is going to do there? What would you like to see happen next for the title?
I would like to see Leon Edwards for sure. I mean, the guy's on a 9 or 10 fight winning streak. I think it's a 9 fight winning streak, but
an unbeaten streak. I think, because there was that no contest against Belal, but still, yeah, you're right. Like unbeaten, I guess. Yeah.
So I do believe he should get the next shot. I mean, he's been fighting. He's been, he's undefeated at this point. Well, since the last time he lost to Usman. So I think him. Of course, you got Vicente Luque right on his coattails as well. Khamzat been crushing people, man. Did you see him wrestle?
Jack Hermanson? I did. Yeah.
Hermanson, I'm like, that dude, he looked bigger than Hermanson did.
Yeah.
He looked so he's a force, man. That guy's a force to be reckoned with. But at this point, I think it should be Leon Edwards. He deserves it for sure.
And where do you think Colby goes from here? I think the one fight people do want to see, just because of their history, is him and Masvidal, but obviously losing twice to the champion, he's kind of in this weird spot in the division.
Yeah, man. I think he's going to stay in the top 5. He's that good. But I would love to see that fight with George Masvidal. I think Masvidal's got beef with pretty much everybody in the top except for myself. So I think that would be a good fight. I would love to see that happen. They've trained with each other, and we don't know who's got the best of who during the training camps, but that would be a fun fight and a high fight for sure.
Does anyone have beef with you, though? Is that even possible? Don't you have your MNF title or whatever to defend the nicest mother effer, right? So I think it would be pretty hard for people to be upset with you. But two other names I did want to mention in the weight class, just to get your thoughts on them. You mentioned Khamzat there. Where do you think his ceiling is? Because he looked very good in that fight against Jingliang, and I think some people feel like he's just a fight or two away from fighting for the title.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's got so much hype around him. And now with the UFC, you got the following. He's got the backing. He's got more followers than the champ does. Yeah. He's got a whole country behind him. Everybody in Russia is following him, and including the U.S., obviously. But with the hype that he's got, I expect him, if he keeps going the way he's going, to definitely get a shot here soon. Yeah. That's the way the route kind of the UFC is going. Who's hype? Who's everybody talking about? And he's doing good on social media with, staying busy, calling out people, and doing the wrestling things like that, and dominating 185ers. So he's staying in the limelight. So yeah. I definitely see him fighting for the title for sure.
One more name I just wanted to mention, just because he's undefeated, is Sean Brady. I don't know if you caught his win over Michael Chiesa, but what were your thoughts on what Sean Brady's been doing in the weight class as he sort of moves up the rankings?
Yeah, actually, that would be a good fight. Sean Brady and Hamzat, both grapplers. And Sean Brady just beat one of the top grapplers for sure in the UFC, Michael Chiesa, out wrestled him. I think he's a great fighter, man. It's funny, man. You go through like the welterweight division, I think UFC period go through stages. You have like some really good strikers at one point for a few years. And then you got some guys like Damian Maia and Gilbert Burns, the jiu-jitsu guys. And now it's back to that wrestling era. In the beginning of the UFC, you got some really, really high level wrestlers up at the top right now. So that keeps me hungry too. Always learning and getting better with my wrestling. And those are the guys I'll have to face. So Hamzat and Sean Brady, definitely tough guys. And you're going to be seeing them up at the top here pretty soon for sure.
Let's talk about Belal Muhammad finally. Really exciting fight. I think everyone's ready for this one. In terms of, the style matchup and everything, how much do you feel like your height and reach will play into this? Because Belal's a little bit on the smaller side for the weight class in terms of his height and reach.
I mean, I feel like I do have the height and reach, but again, I've seen, him fight taller and longer guys, and he works them, man. The guy's got a work ethic and a spirit like no other. I mean, he's relentless. He comes forward, he wrestles, he's got amazing cardio. You saw his wrestling against Damian Maia. Very rarely, I've never seen that before. I've never seen anybody defend Damian Maia like he did. So, I mean, he's good everywhere. He's a really tough guy. So I do believe that at some point he's going to be shooting, obviously. He's done some work recently with Gilbert Burns, so he might take a note out of Gilbert Burns' book and go straight in for the takedown. But I'm ready for it. So I'm just, like I said, it's an honor to be able to face off against him. I think I was supposed to do like an interview with him not too long ago. I think I mentioned that.
Oh yeah, because he has this show with John Anik's brother that they do on the
Supposed to do that, but some technical difficulties happened here with Wi-Fi and stuff. I wasn't able to do it. So if you're listening, man, I'm sorry. We got to make it.
Yeah, you're not dodging the interview. It's Wi-Fi, right? It wasn't. Yeah, because you know how fans are, right? Yeah.
But yeah, man, I'm excited for this one. He's up and coming. He's obviously his last fight was Damian Maia, but the fight before that with Leon Edwards was a disaster with the eye pokes and stuff. But no eye pokes happening here. It's going to be fists to face. So
yes. Yeah.
That's the plan.
So one of the questions I get asked a lot about you is, is there going to be anything different from the Gilbert Burns fight? Is that something you focused on this camp of, the takedowns and all that? Because you never know with Belal, because he's a pretty well-rounded guy. I don't think he's excels in one particular area. Is that something that you worked on this camp, or is it just like, hey, it was just one bad fight against Burns?
Yeah, I mean, that's how I look at it. But I think it was more of the mindset going into that. I was too worried about what he was going to do to me instead of I was about to, what I was going to do to him. So there was this waiting game in the first round and a half of me just kind of waiting for the takedown. So with my mindset, I'm just going to go out there and do my thing.
Yeah, makes sense. Training partners, anyone different this time around? Who you working with for this camp as far as bodies in the gym?
Well, I got some good karate fighters, good wrestlers coming in as well. Chris Weidman is in this camp too.
Oh, awesome. So, great to hear.
I didn't have him in my last camp, which is the first time in almost 8 years I haven't had him in my camp. So he's coming back and helping me get ready for this fight. So that's about it. I got my man Chris Weidman and my team here at Upstate.
Is Carl still in the gym at all? I know Carl's sort of doing more of the management stuff. Carl Reed, that is, someone that you and I both know. Is he there training as well, or is he more so doing more of the management stuff?
He's doing more of the management stuff now. I saw him not too long ago. I had an appearance. And he was there, but he's doing the management thing, man.
He's killing it. I actually just talked to him yesterday about one of the clients. So it's I just always have to ask about Carl, because I know for years you've talked about how great of a fighter he is, and it's good to see him find some success in some other areas too.
Yeah, man, I'm glad to see that, and that's where his niche is. He was more kind of gravitated towards that area of the fight sport anyway. As good of a fighter as he is, he loved the management thing, and I'm glad he got it. I'm glad I was able to help him. So he's with my management team, Paradigm.
Yeah, Paradigm, I know. Yeah, which is really cool.
Glad he's rocking with that.
Yeah, no, he's doing a great job. And you mentioned Weidman there. So is he actually back in training now? Like you said, he's been part of your camp. How long has that been? Has it been the full camp, or is it just recently that he's come back in? Because he had a pretty bad injury, right?
Yeah, it was very bad. I mean, just broke his shin in half. I mean, that was, and he had he had to like redo the surgery. I think the
Mm,
rod that they had put in his shin was too long, so it was giving him some problems. So we had to go back in and have another surgery.
right.
So it's right now he's back into training, but it's just making that calf and that leg strong again. So I mean, he's doing that. He's training every day, and it's crazy how fast this guy heals up. He's like Wolverine.
Mm.
He heals up quick. So you'll be seeing him back in the cage very soon.
That's awesome. Love to hear it. Your corner, I imagine your dad will be in there. Who else will be in the cage with you that night?
So it will be my pops. It will be my brother-in-law Carlos Machado, and of course one of my wrestling coaches, Steve Deviney.
Oh,
So the
cool.
same last time. So got the same crew coming in for this fight.
How's this fight playing out on December 18th? I know you feel like you're going to get your hand raised, but how do you envision the fight playing out?
I think it's going to be a tough fight. I know it's a 3 5-minute rounder, and Belal. I mean, he's relentless, but I'm ready, man. Oh my gosh, I can't tell you how excited I am just to get another fight. And after a loss, man, I'm itching at the bits to go out there and you know really put on a show. I was kind of disappointed in my last performance, but I'm ready to rock, man. I'm feeling good. I'll be 39 in February, and I'm going to be doing this till I'm like 60. So
There you go. Love it. Love it. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the second last fight in your contract, this fight. So kind of big implications as you go back to the negotiating table on that last fight, right? If I'm not mistaken.
yeah, so this was supposed to be my last fight.
Yeah.
So we're going through renegotiations on contracts and stuff with this. So that's the plan. So they ain't getting rid of me that easy. So we'll be back for sure after this fight.
Good.
So that's what I'm kind of doing right now with the management in the UFC is renegotiating. So we're
That's
excited.
awesome. Well, someone who didn't get that same fortune was Kevin Lee. I don't know if you caught that he was released from the promotion this week. Were you surprised by that, or did you kind of see their side of it as well? What was your reaction when you heard the news?
Yeah, I was kind of I don't know the whole negotiations with him in the UFC or what that was all about, but I mean he's a popular guy and he's done some work. He's fought some of the toughest guys in the division, and he came off with what is it, a year ago, a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
I think when Luke had that crazy head kick knockout. So it was a surprise to me to see him, get cut from the UFC. So I hope he finds another promotion that he feels comfortable with. So
Yeah,
I'm
it was nuts. Well, you were both on that New York card, yeah, because you fought Luke that night. He fought Gregor Gillespie, who he knocked out actually at lightweight, and then after that he fought So he knocked out Gillespie, and then after that he fought Charles Oliveira, right? You remember that? That was in Brazil. That was the last card before the pandemic. Lost to Oliveira, but that's not a bad loss. Last time I checked, Charles Oliveira is the lightweight champion. It was the return fight against Daniel Rodriguez that I think people expected him to win. He didn't, but that was off of a really long layoff due to knee surgery. And if you remember, he was actually supposed to fight Sean Brady, but they gave D-Rod instead as a short notice opponent. So with all that in mind, do you still feel the same way? Because I think some people felt like it was a bit surprising.
Yeah, I'm definitely surprised with that. Definitely surprised with that. I mean, he came off of one loss, and I mean,
Two, it would have been two in a row because Oliveira and then D-Rod, but yeah.
that's right. But still, Oliveira is like the champ now. Like, come on,
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised from seeing him get cut. So like I said, man, hopefully he keeps his chin up, man, and finds somewhere else. Keeps on the grind.
And just last question for me, Thanksgiving, what did you get up to?
Absolutely, I didn't eat anything, to be honest with you. Obviously,
I bet you can't. Yeah.
sucks. Having training camp during the holidays is terrible. But we were in Tennessee. Went to Dollywood to my nieces and nephews to Dollywood, amusement park out there in Tennessee. It was a blast. Got a cabin, hung out with the family. Had a little bit of some turkey and some other stuff, but that was about it. I told my mom, like, listen, Ma, I get this win. You got to make me a Thanksgiving dinner, and she gave me the up. So I'm not stressing it too bad.
What's your favorite Thanksgiving dish? Stuffing's my favorite for sure.
It's got to be the macaroni and cheese, like not that Kraft stuff. I'm talking about the homemade macaroni and cheese with a crusted cheddar cheese on top. The best. That's all I look forward to. Half my plate is mac and cheese, and have a little bit of the other stuff on the other side. Straight mac and cheese. I'm like stopped up for at least a week after that.
There you go. You got it all set up there. And Christmas, I know you guys do something at the gym. Like it's always a big thing for you to do Christmas time with your students.
Yeah, man. I mean, during Christmas time, we decorate the place up. I mean, we have a lot of time, a lot of fun at Christmas time with our students. But we usually have like a week off, and that's pretty much our only time off. Really, our vacation in the summer and Christmas break. That's our only time off. So I'm not sure what we're gonna do this year. fighting close to that time, so we'll see. But just looking to relax with the fam.
Steven, always appreciate the time, man. We're looking forward to it. Belal Muhammad, UFC Fight Night, December 18th. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, and obviously your YouTube channel, which, by the way, you're killing it with that content, man. The floor is yours.
Thanks. Yes, guys, go follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wonderboy MMA. Go check out my Stephen Wonderboy Thompson and Sweet Tea on YouTube. And I want to thank you, man, for having me on. So I appreciate you.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.